wonderful to have you all here today on this incredibly special ground. And it's my absolute privilege to acknowledge the traditional owners of the ground on which we stand today, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I'd like to pay my respect to their elders past and present. So here we are, 1st of January. It's always a day when we make resolutions and commitments, and today is a massive day of change for the McGrath Foundation, but it's also a huge day of change for cancer care in Australia. Today we are announcing that the new purpose for the McGrath Foundation is that we are going to go beyond breast and we will start providing care to anybody with cancer. This is a really important moment in time because there are so many people who are without that support that they need. In the last 20 years, the McGrath Foundation has provided care to 150,000 people diagnosed with breast cancer and their loved ones. Moving forward, our focus is going to be on equity of care to make sure that anybody diagnosed with cancer will have the support of a McGrath cancer care nurse. I am so excited that we are joined by the Wendt family today, Jade and David, who are here with their boys. They've travelled all the way from Bundaberg and they truly know what it means to have a nurse, but also not have a nurse. Jade was diagnosed with breast cancer and David has had renal cancer. So they can talk very personally and share their story about what it means to have that support and what it means when you don't. 170,000 people will be diagnosed with cancer in Australia this year. 1 in 2 of us will be diagnosed at some point in our lifetime. Those are terrifying statistics. And what it means is there are an enormous number of people who are not getting the care that they absolutely deserve and need. So how can we start to close that gap? And let's be clear, we are just starting that journey. The first thing that we can all do is get behind the Virtual Pink Seat campaign here at the NRMA Insurance Pink Test this year. Buying a virtual pink seat and sharing them across your socials with your messages of love and support will show everyone across Australia who is going through cancer that you are thinking of them, that you are helping to raise money to fund McGrath cancer care nurses. McGrath nurses deliver emotional, psychological and clinical support to anybody with cancer, and their impact is proven. We know that they can make a difference. So get behind this incredibly special moment. Buy your virtual pink seat by jumping on to pinktest.com.au, and for $20 you can show Australia that you care. Finally, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of our partners because we cannot do this without them. The first is our partnership with Australia at large, the community that continues to support us, that supported us from the first Pink Test 17 years ago, right up until this day, and not just during Pink Test, but all the year round. We are so incredibly grateful. We could not do it without the phenomenal support of Nick Hockley and Cricket Australia and Kerry Mather and the SCG. Their partnership with us has been absolutely phenomenal and unwavering. We also have to thank the Australian cricket team. Every year they come out in force, and along with the touring side, they bring the pink to the very centre of the Sydney Cricket Ground, a very special moment. So we know we can't do what we do without the support of all of our partners. So I just want to say a massive thank you. And now I'd like to hand over to Glenn to say a few words.
Thank you, Holly, and echo everything that Holly just said. First, let me say Happy New Year to everyone. It's great to be back here on the 1st of January. My favourite cricket ground in the world. There's something very special about the SCG. It's something close to my heart. Walk on the ground, you know, the hairs on your back and neck still stand up. It is a very special place, and to look around and see it just a wash of pink. This is the 17th Pink Test. Is absolutely incredible. And I guess, as Holly mentioned, you know, this is a new, I guess, nearly historic innings for the McGrath Foundation. You know, to think back when we started in 2005, our mission then, our purpose, was to provide support for families, individuals going through breast cancer. And I think our nurses, who you've met and seen in the background, are just absolutely incredible. But to now be able to take that care to anyone with cancer, any family going through cancer, is something I think is absolutely incredible. You know, I don't think you should be discriminated against because of what type of cancer you have to what type of support you get. So to be able to now provide support for all cancers is something I think is absolutely incredible. This will be the first Pink Test out of the 17, the first Pink Test that it's for everyone diagnosed with cancer, and to me that is very special. The Australian team obviously has been a massive part of that over the last 17 pink tests, so very proud, as is the touring team. I think India might be their 5th pink test, which is pretty special too, but to now have our McGrath Cancer Care Nurse 11 here as well, I think is very special, and you'll hear from them during this test, plus the patients and the families that they're supporting, and hearing their stories from both sides of the fence, from having support and not. So that is very special. As Holly said, 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. You know, those stats are pretty scary, and to hear the word cancer and the fear that's associated with it, to all of a sudden have the support of a nurse during that time makes a massive difference. So it is something that I think will make a huge difference. And I know firsthand, I remember back in 1997 when Jane was first diagnosed, to go through that journey without support is incredibly tough. The toughest time in your life, not to have that support. To then have a nurse, I saw the positive difference it made in our lives, but especially Jane's was absolutely incredible. And another thing that I think is very special, our nurse, or Jane's nurse, Alison, who's over the back here, is part of our McGrath nurses. And so from, I guess the reason we started the McGrath Foundation in the hope that we can make a positive difference in people's lives, to have Alison still part of that, or now part of that, I think is absolutely incredible. So I know firsthand the difference that having one of these nurses, what it makes. As Holly said, the way people can get on board and support the foundation, we've set a bit of a lofty goal of 350,000 virtual pink seats for this. But I've spoken to a lot of people around Australia in the last few years since we've started the campaign, and they've said it's become a tradition. It's the way they get out and support their loved ones or family that's been through or going through it. And to now not only support families going through breast cancer, and let me just make sure that everyone knows that we're still providing the same support we've always have for families with breast cancer. We're now extending that to all cancers. And the way you can do that is jump online, get your virtual pink seat, share that on socials, and you're making a huge positive difference in so many people's lives. And finally, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the whole Australian community, not just the cricket community, but to the whole Australian community. The way they've supported us over the last 20 years, and I'm sure they'll continue to support us the same, has been absolutely amazing. To stand here, things like the pink test that don't just happen. The way both teams have got on board, the way the broadcasters, the supporters, the crowds, but especially to the team at the SCG, led by Kerry, and also the team at Cricket Australia, led by Nick. Without that support, we may not be standing here today. There may not be a pink test. And it's incredible. The thing I love about sport, and especially cricket, it brings people together from all walks of life. And what's been created at this pink test, I think, is something very special. So a huge thank you to you guys. To Nick, I know you're finishing up shortly. This will be your final pink test, but I just wanted to say a special thank you for everything you've done as well. So again, fingers crossed the test goes well. There's been a few complaints about the weather, but I've had a chat and we should be fine with the weather for this 5 days. And if we can match something that happened in very similar to Melbourne, which was a very special test, that would be great. So looking forward to the next, when the test starts, the 5 days of the test, and hope the cricket's just as good as the support that we received. So again, a huge thank you, and I'll pass over to Nick to say a few words now.
Brilliant. Thanks, Glenn.
Cheers, Nick.
Happy New Year to everyone. It's just wonderful to be here with Glenn, the team from the McGrath Foundation, here at the SCG, and it does feel different and bigger this year, and I just want to commend the McGrath Foundation, really expanding their care, making such a positive impact to all cancers. We at Cricket Australia, we're so proud that the partnership with the McGrath Foundation continues to go from strength to strength, and it's amazing. I get quite a few calls from other sporting codes going, what's the secret sauce? And I think it is without doubt, I think, the benchmark partnership, the purpose partnership in world sport. And for that, Glenn and the team, your incredible leadership, your incredible work, we couldn't be prouder to partner. So I would like to thank Glenn, I'd like to thank Holly, Tracy, team at the McGrath Foundation for their partnership and all the incredible work. And then here, I think that the FCG looks absolutely magnificent. Harry, to your team, Venues New South Wales, for all the work to prepare for this, what is going to be a really exciting deciding match of the Border Gavaskar series. I would say I think we're expecting an absolute packed house. Days 1 to 3 are really well sold, as we do with every match. As we confirm camera positions and sight screens, there will be a few more tickets coming on the website, so I encourage everyone to keep an eye, and there's plenty of good seats available for day 4. But again, couldn't be prouder to be part of what's a magnificent occasion, the iconic pink test, and thank everyone for all their support. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nick. This is my favourite time of the year, and it's a great honour to welcome everyone officially to the SCG for the New Year's Pink Test launch. We've been hosting the New Year's Test here since 1931, but this year has a special significance because the McGrath Foundation's care has been extended to all cancers, helping even more Australians. We are incredibly proud of the New Year Pink Test. It's a tradition that started here at the SCG 17 years ago, honouring the legacy of Jane McGrath. And its contribution, its positive contribution, is just far-reaching. Of course, what brings us here is world-class cricket. And what an occasion we've got in store. The Border Gavaskar Trophy being decided in Sydney, really, it doesn't get much better than a series deciding New Year's Pink Test here at the SCG in front of a sold-out SCG. But I also wanted to recognise and thank Holly Masters, SCG Life member Glenn McGrath, and the teams at the McGrath Foundation, Cricket Australia, and my own team from the SCG for their tireless efforts in bringing this event to life. I also wanted to recognise the contribution of Nick Hockley. He's had a wonderful innings at Cricket Australia and he's done some fantastic things, and I wanted to particularly thank you for your support of the SCG. So, like everybody else, I'd encourage everyone who's either watching or attending at the SCG over the next week, buy a virtual seat in the virtual seat campaign, or come pinked up with the remaining seats that are available. Grab a ticket and join us here in full-on pink for the New Year's Pink Test. Thank you.
I'll ask you, Glenn, just quickly.
Yep.
I think sprinklers were about to come on, then we can hear them behind you, but don't worry. There's a lot of emotion there. Obviously, it is 20 years now.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be looking at, she'll be incredibly proud of what the foundation's achieving, what the SCG Pink Test has become, but also her family as well, growing up to, James and Holly are, nearly 25 and 23, the young adults they are. My youngest daughter Madison is 9 and my wife Sarah. The foundation is something we live every day. And I know Jane would be incredibly proud, a little bit probably embarrassed, a little bit humbled because she didn't want to make a fuss. And the foundation, she never wanted it to be about her. It's not about me. It's not about our amazing team at the foundation. What it is about are the families going through breast cancer, now any type of cancer, and our nurses at the back. And to me, that's what it's all, and she'd be incredibly proud of the fact that we now have not only 250, we're up to, I think, 261 McGrath nurses, and soon more nurses. The more support we have, the more nurses we can put on, and the more support they can offer. So yeah, she'd be very proud. Yeah, no, exactly right. And I think Australians are great, especially in time of need. Sometimes we're a little slack when life's too easy, but I think Australians are very generous, and the way they've supported the foundation has been incredible. But with breast cancer, there wasn't too many people that hadn't been touched by it in some way, shape or form. And now that we're providing support for all cancers, there's not a single person in Australia that doesn't have a personal story to tell. So the fact that any donation and support they give will making a huge positive difference in so many people's lives.
Glenn, how big a job is it to expand the program?
It's not something we take lightly, and we knew that it was going to be something big. We've created the McGrath model of care for breast cancer support, and hopefully creating a new, standard of cancer care, not only within Australia but around the world. We do need to adapt that, and we've been talking to the other sort of cancer charities, other sort of cancer people in the health sector and what have you. So again, it's not about us. We want to take everyone along on the journey. The better support we can provide for our nurses, the better support they can provide for families going through cancer. So it's a work in progress at the moment, but we've got an incredible team at the foundation, as I said before, and everything's coming along nicely. And I've always said, if we can work together, you can create more, and that's for everyone in the cancer sector. If we can really work together, it's amazing what we can achieve. Sorry, I'm getting deaf at my old age. That plane move. Yeah.
Have you changed the shirt with the expansion? Has it got brighter?
Yeah. So we've always said pink's always been aligned with breast cancer, but now it's saying pink is support for cancer care support. Yeah, my shirt seems to get pinker all the time, but we're slowly adapting a few other Australian colours in, that eucalypt green, the Aussie red from out west and sandy. So there's a few more adaptations. The logo itself has been adapted slightly as well, but pink's our predominant colour, and pink is the colour for care for all cancers, from my perspective.
In class bowlers that you've seen, you're the best Australian.
Yeah, so happy to answer a couple of questions. Yeah, Bumrah to me is class, there's no doubt about it. He's unique. He has an action you wouldn't teach a young guy, but he's found a way to adapt it, and he's just absolutely incredible. The way he powers in those last few steps, powers through the crease. He's got a little bit of hyperextension, which I used to have as well, and he's coping with that, and it's just got incredible control both ways. I guess they're managing him. His stats are unbelievable. So yeah, I'm a massive fan of Jasprit. I met him when he was younger, and what he's grown into is unbelievable. He's been a massive part of the Indian team and of the summer. Without him, this series might be a little bit more one-sided, but he's very special. And the cricket we saw down in Melbourne was amazing, to go full 5 days with Australia getting across the line in the last session, and 370,000 fans turning up is absolutely incredible. And to me, that is special, because Test cricket's still the ultimate, and we need to look after it and protect it. And that Boxing Day Test proves to me that Test cricket is still alive and well. And hopefully here over this Test match, we'll see something similar.
Glenn, you've worked a lot with some of the younger Indian pacers in Chennai. So what do you think about the reserves? Like Mohammad Shami is on decline. So only Bumrah is around there, Siraj is there, but you've worked with him.
Yeah, well, India, 1.4 billion people, and an absolute passion and love for the game of cricket. So cricket's nearly part of their culture now, and any spare bit of land, they're playing cricket, and I see the passion they have. Working with them at Pace Foundation now for the last 12 years. We've got Prasidh Krishna, who's in the squad. He's a good young bowler coming up, and I think he'll have a good career in front of him. So yeah, there's no shortage of young players there coming through, not just bowlers. We've seen Jasprit, but it's a different attitude these youngsters have, isn't it? They don't seem to have any fear. They go out and they play, and that's what I love, seeing sports people perform without fear. We've seen young Sam Constas as well go out there, and that's what we want to see. So yeah, there's no shortage of young cricketers coming through India at the moment.
When do you think there's a
Final question, guys.
Yep.
just in regards to, let's talk about Mitch Stark's fitness and seeing Pat playing all 5 tests, do Australia need to be careful there as far as Mitch goes, or do you play bowl on day 5 in Melbourne and go?
Well, it also depends on the test and the state of the series, and this is a massive game. Australia haven't beaten India for the last 2 series they lost here in Australia, which is nearly unheard of for Australia to lose to India. So it is a massive test match. Australia really want to drive this last test home. I guess it'll be up to Mitch and the powers to be. I think he'll be doing everything possible to be out in the middle. He's such a massive part of the Australian team. When he's on fire, he's as good as anyone going around. So he's been bowling incredibly well. Fingers crossed he's pulled up well and get through this test match. But Australia want to go in with their best team. To lose Hazelwood was a big blow, but the way Scotty Boland came in and just picked up has been amazing. So yeah, I think Australia will go in with their best team, and I hope Mitchell Stark's out there come day 1. No worries. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year again.